Tom Osa, and Mike Kluger.
All right, we're back with another segment. We just did the snow updates before. We'll have County Executive Ed Day on at 10:15, Amy Conklin-Stam at 10 o'clock. And right now, we have Town of Clarkstown Supervisor George Holman. George, thanks for being on Rockland's News this morning.
Thanks, Tom. Happy to be on and give an update for all the folks in Rockland County.
Absolutely. So this is the easiest job I have, but kind of the toughest job you guys have with the highway departments, making sure that the streets are safe, emergency services. So how's it going thus far in the town of Clarkstown?
So, I have to say that people largely heeded the warnings. The roads have been pretty well deserted, and I've been out a good bit. I've been out and about on the roads pretty much up until about 1 last night, and then starting again at 5. And, there were not a lot of vehicles out other than emergency vehicles and snowplows. And, we have, the Clarkstown Police has transported a few emergency service workers to the hospital because there were some issues with folks being able to get in, some nursing staff.
Got it.
According to the police, there were very few accidents or incidents overnight. Very, very quiet, which is highly unusual for a storm like this. But we'll take it. I'm glad that people are heeding the warnings and staying home and staying off of the roads. In addition to the police indicated, I was talking to the chief about an hour ago, and I got an update from the PD at 5 a.m. And there were literally, I think, 2 overnight accidents. They were minor. One involved a plow truck that hit a utility sign, and there was another 2 other minor vehicles. The police were out making people move their vehicles off the streets when we were notified of it, either by highway or others. So there was a better job of people parking, not parking in the street, which is banned, during the winter months, as you know. And by and large, it looks like we probably have about 12 inches on the ground in Clarkstown. That varies. It seems like the snow, it was heavier to the south than to the north.
Mm-hmm.
So, probably on average, it's 12 inches across the town. Highway department is out and about. They're doing a great job. I was talking with our superintendent, Bob Malone, earlier. It was just over at the highway department. I'll be heading back over later on. They're just a lot of long days. Plus our DFM department. We have an unusual situation where our DFM department, which is Department of Engineering and Facilities Maintenance, maintains downtown New City sidewalks and also maintains all of the town facilities. So we are endeavoring to open. What we have done is we've had kind of a soft opening. We're asking anybody that can get in to get in by noon into our town facilities. We do have staff. We're trying to get skeletal crews in just in case anybody needs any services, in town hall, as well as we're maintaining our street community center in particular as a place of refuge. Thankfully, there are no reported power outages in Clarkstown, according to Orange and Rockland. So that's, we haven't, I don't expect we're going to get a rush of people to street school. And then just a reminder, a lot of closures. Obviously, all the schools are closed. Our Transport of Rockland, I'm sure the county exec will speak about that, but they're not running. The town of Clarkstown is the only town that has a municipal bus service. So our mini-trans bus service is suspended for the day. We may evaluate opening much later in the day, but likely it's suspended for the entire day. Garbage and recycling were canceled for today. So if you had a Monday pick garbage or recycling, your next scheduled pickup will be your next regularly scheduled pickup will be your pickup.
Yeah.
In addition to that,
usually it's double the capacity. In other words, the plan is to pick up double the amount of garbage on the day that picking up afterwards.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is the second time that Monday people, and I happen to be a Monday person, for garbage pickup, but
Hmm.
my neighborhood's Monday, Thursday, so it'll be a Thursday pickup. But unfortunately, Monday, folks, this is the second major storm they're being affected by it. The other
Right.
important closure is Justice Court. So the Clarkstown Justice Court is closed. So if anybody had appearance tickets or cases that were scheduled, they're going to be transferred to Wednesday and Friday morning of this week. So if you are an affected person with Clarkstown Justice Court, we ask you to call the Justice Court tomorrow, Tuesday, and they
Hmm.
will tell you exactly when your appearance or case has been rescheduled to. So that's there'll be either Wednesday or Friday of this week, Friday morning. And then I think beyond that, obviously we canceled all senior clubs today. We canceled all of our parks and recreation activities, although we're endeavoring to get our community centers open as best as we can with Alabet with reduced crews, just in case people want to come in and come out of the cold and charge a phone. They'll be open for normal business hours today.
Right. Yeah, and we mentioned about that as well as the warming centers for Rockland County and transportation from different locations. So, seems like the ship is at the moment running smoothly, so that everybody's safe. Um, and you mentioned before you were up until 2 o'clock in the morning, just kind of like monitoring what was going on. Like, did you get any sleep?
Yeah, yeah, about 3 hours.
Okay,
You know, it's I'll get some sleep tonight. I mean these are involved. In fact, I worked throughout the weekend, so I mean I was in yesterday for about I don't know 8 or 9 hours, and I was in and working Saturday as well. Um, you know, just there's a lot going into this. Talking, coordinating. What are our plans? Also trying to make sure that we're informing the public.
right.
Via all of our media contacts and social media outreach. And ultimately, it's a significant amount of snow again. I mean, this storm and the storm last month are they're the two largest storms that we've had to hit our area within the last 10 years or so.
Yeah,
So it's
unbelievable.
pretty significant. It's funny. Also, we do our budgeting based on 3-year averages. So our 3-year snow budget wasn't. It's been. Our budget for this year is based upon a 3-year average.
Right.
So luckily, there's. We're still pretty good on our budget. But if we get another one of these, it
Yeah.
might be breaking the budget. And our year goes all the way through December. So we'll hopefully hopefully we'll we're kind of done. I mean, March is Saturday is March, and while we can get some of these big ones, I remember when I was in high school, we had a massive blizzard, like 22 inches.
Yep.
In around Easter time, an April storm, and we had a storm a number of years in the 90s and in March, late March. So while they can happen, they're not all too common. So hopefully this weather pattern is going to start to change. The other thing we're going to be doing is we'll be evaluating our downtown areas, um, and if there's large amounts of snow, and I can tell you already there is, we will probably do some targeted clearing and hauling of snow, but that won't be for a day or two.
Hmm.
The good news is that after tomorrow, going into Wednesday, uh, by all accounts, the forecasts seem to vary, but it looks like we might get some precipitation, and it's going to be rain, and it will also be warmer. By the weekend, we're going to be up into the 40s. So a lot of this snow, unlike the last storm, should start to melt.
The 40s from
Yeah,
what feels like -2 right now. That's an
yeah,
unbelievable swing. I mean, I'm just
yeah.
like the thing that befuddles, I think, my mind and probably some people out there. Like for instance, yesterday, me and my wife, we're watching the hockey game, Olympics, everything like that, and looking at the forecast was all over the place. One meteorologist 8 inches, another 14 inches, another 2 feet. And it just seemed, and this is what I brought up yesterday, is that it seems like the electronic models were changing a lot more rapidly than they normally do. Like usually it's set it and forget it. It's like, okay, you're going to get a foot of snow, and that's the way it consistently stays. This one was all over the place.
Yeah, it definitely, and the models were kind of agreeing, like the European and the American model,
Mm-hmm.
which was very concerning. But and if you went on those like last forecasts, like on late late into the day yesterday, particularly Saturday into Sunday, they were like calling for like 2 feet of snow, 30
Right.
inches
Yeah.
of snow, and that clearly didn't happen. Everything shifted lower down. Excuse me. So southern New Jersey and along the coast, even up into northern New Jersey, they certainly got more snow than we did. And likewise, it's an odd thing. But if you look at Rockland County, you'll see the precipitation totals are less in the north by a little bit than they are down in the south, and even within the town of Clarkstown. That seems to be like the thruway seems to be a demarcation point. It seems like the snow total is a little bit higher, a little, in the southern part of the town than it is in the
Right.
northern part of town. But on average, I would say we got a solid foot,
Yeah.
which is a little less than they were predicting, but it's still snowing, and it's going to be, by all accounts, kind of snowing, at a regular clip, through about 1 o'clock, and then intermittent, on and off through the end of the day. Another band could be coming through.
Gotcha.
So it's gonna, and I just caution folks, it's gonna take us from the last moment it starts, it stops snowing, we clear curb to curb. That's pretty much all the highway departments. So right now, what the highway departments are doing is they're keeping the roads open, particularly the local roads. They're not necessarily clearing curb to curb. They establish curb lines early, but in the heat of the snow during the overnight, they're making multiple passes. And I'll hear this often from folks. They'll be like, when people say, "Oh, a plow hasn't been on my street." Well, when you're getting 2 inches an hour, and if it takes upwards of 3 to 4 hours to plow an entire route by a
Mm-hmm.
truck, you come on by, it may look like they haven't been there. So if you've got 4 or 5 inches of snow on the street, it just means that the plow hasn't been through your street within the last 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
It takes no more than 4 hours to get through an entire plow route. In fact, it's usually a bit less. We have 56 routes, and now periodically the drivers are going to have to go get more salt. They're going to have to go get fuel at some point throughout the storm. They also take breaks, just to be safe. Not a lot of breaks, but they have to have a mandatory break, within a certain period of time, just for safety reasons. And then the other unfortunate issue is sometimes, trucks have issues. One of the things that was happening in this storm, and we had it with a couple of trucks, not a lot, but some of the wiper blades were freezing up, and they had to go into what we call the barn. And literally, so what would happen is the drivers would go in, reload with salt, take a quick break, for 10 or 15 minutes, and let the truck, essentially the wiper blades, get cleaned off,
Mm-hmm.
and then get back out there. So we've had that. It was so cold last night, and as the plows are kicking up the snow, and it can be bouncing up. It's not like a car, you're pushing snow up. It can get even up way up on a truck on the windshield. So that certainly was something that happened. I was told we had about six trucks we had to pull off the road for at least a half hour, during the course of the night. Thankfully, that's not happening right now.
That's good.
But that's it's because it's warmed up a bit. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, it's in the mid to high 20s. So that should help as well a little bit too.
And I
Last night it was pretty low, down in the teens.
Yeah, yeah, and I imagine a lot of the town supervisors, including yourself, but also the other town supervisors, would certainly
Yep.
attest to
Bart,
that.
here we go.
Matter of fact, we do have Town of Haverstraw Supervisor Howard Phillips on the wire with us as well. Howard, we have George on. He was just giving us an update from the town of Clarkstown. So I figured this is the natural, just how's everybody doing today?
Well, Clarkstown always gets a lot more snow than us. There's something about when you come over that mountain, it's always sunny and 75 degrees here in Haverstraw.
It's true, Howie. In fact, I might actually be retiring, to Haverstraw at some point.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You're going to have to change your registration then, George.
I feel like this is the point where I mentioned that we have a realtor that's an excellent sponsor of Rockland's News, Susan Bova from Coldwell Banker Realty.
Oh,
please
God,
continue,
Susan.
gentlemen.
Oh, that's a great soft push. Howie, it's funny. I don't want to intrude on your time, but I will tell you what we're seeing in Clarkstown. We got more snow, it seems, in the southern part of the town than to the
Yes.
north. We certainly got over a solid foot down in Nanuet,
Yeah.
but when we're getting up into northern New City, it's probably a couple inches less.
I can see that. I have, as a matter of fact, our superintendent of highways, Bart Gordon, on the line. And Bart, you were saying we didn't get quite as much as they had predicted?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. No, up here in North Rock, we got about 11 inches here at Thiels, and it seems like it's gone a little less as you go further north. As you go further south, down into the village of Haverstraw, they're closer to 12. Like George was saying, going down south, it gets a little more. So we're about 11 inches right now that I can see.
Yeah, and I think the problem more so is the whiteout with the wind.
Yeah, I mean, I get very nervous because the windy conditions, with the whiteout conditions, you can't see. There's tree problems and branches and things coming out of the ordinary. So everybody should be really, really careful today with these windy conditions. Yeah.
We've seen, George and Tom, in the past, these storms, when the wind has persisted, that a lot of branches or trees have come down. The weight, and this is a very heavy snow. This isn't like the last one when it was very light. So I would caution people about going out there today. Only essential workers really, I think, should be out there. Look, we're going to open town hall, but in either case, we're public servants. But we did have a delay. We're looking at 12 noon. I'm going to get a report from our chief of police soon before I confirm that. But in any case, everybody should be very safe. As a matter of fact, Bart was telling me we have a roaming packs of deer. And Bart, we have them walking in the middle of the road in the broad daylight now.
Uh-huh.
I'm really proud of our residents. We had basically 100% of the cars were off the streets as per, the state of emergency or whatever. But that's a dangerous thing for a plow driver is to have to deal with automobiles. Well, guess what happens when there's no cars on the road? Then the deer just use the road as if it was theirs. So, as well as everything else, just watch those deer in the middle of the road when it's windy and snowy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's they don't have as many deer in Clarkstown. I don't know. You got to figure that one out. But over here,
Howie, I'll tell you, it's funny you say that, and then I'll jump off and let you guys finish up. But I was over at town hall at 5 a.m. this morning, and there were deer walking around, just as you said, on Route 304, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that is, what do you call them? Herds? How do you group them together? I forget now. But in either case, that'll be the next thing that we'll have to address because it's really the population is out of control. But there are means to do that. But right now, I want to say that.
So Howie, listen, I'm going to jump. Be safe. Good luck. And likewise, we're following Howie's lead. I think all the towns in the county are having delayed openings. We're trying to get town hall open by 12 o'clock. We do have some people in already if people absolutely need to get in. We were doing that more as a precaution because of power outages, but thankfully there haven't been any reported outages.
And George, let me know when you come over the mountain again so we can give you a pass so you can get to Brian Heyman's house, all right?
Absolutely.
I could do the comedy like that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Be safe, everybody. Thanks, Tommy.
Take care.
You got
Tom, I
it.
just wanted to thank our superintendent of highways and the highway
Yeah.
department, the staff, and our parks department. You know, right now we're the only town that plows state roads. And I think you can really notice the difference. Route 9W, Route 202. The guys do an incredible job. They take a great amount of pride in that. But it
Mhm.
really, what it is a great amount of pride in protecting our residents. I think wherever you go in Havistra and the villages as well, the roads are always clean. We get out there, we do the job. As Bart was saying, his guys are still on, they're still working. There's a lot to be done. We ask for the patience of our residents. Sidewalks will come next, and the corners, the intersections where the kids go out for the bus stops. So
Mhm.
all of that will get done, but you just have to be patient. It's severe weather out there, and you just have to really bide the time. We will get to it. The guys have been working. Bart, you've had them on since yesterday morning.
Yep, yep. We had him up yesterday morning. We had a call out early in the morning. We were here basically since. So, yes, we've been here going on the 24 hours or so far.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's
We'll
great.
definitely work.
Yeah.
We'll work through the day shift today. Maybe until it's dark. Depends. I might. We'll definitely get through day shift today. Yes.
Yeah. And how's our salt supply?
Our salt supply is actually, we're pretty good here in Haverstraw. We were able to bring more in late last week, anticipating
Good,
this.
good.
And I believe there's going to be some more weather come the end of next week.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Maybe a replay. I don't know how much or how little, but yeah, we're anticipating something towards the end of next week also.
I can give you the information on that. And I was talking about that with George. So apparently it's going to be 40 degrees toward the end of the week and raining, and maybe I don't know what's going to happen beyond that, but that's the forecast toward the end of the week at the moment.
Okay. Well,
Good.
we should have all invested in salt this year. That's the key. I do
Yeah.
want to say also our parks department is out there. They do a great job, as well as our wastewater treatment employees. You know, all these employees, they don't get any snow days. They don't get any delays. They're out there 24 hours, 7 days a week when it comes to having storms or whatever emergency we have. So they do an excellent job. On a lighter note, Tom, want to congratulate the U.S. men's hockey team
That's
and
right.
and the
Absolutely.
USA
Woo!
women's hockey team. Isn't
Yep.
that
Yeah, we both
amazing?
pulled it off.
Oh, that was just incredible. That is wonderful. I just, it was amazing to see. And, you know, I'll tell you, these guys were just so into representing the United States. They were so proud of what they achieved. What an amazing goal. And, but a congratulations to all the Olympic winners and participants. It's great to see. You know, Canada had an amazing team. The United States goalie for the men's did an amazing job. So did the women's goalies. The both teams
Cheers.
were outstanding, and it was just great to see. I understand that the president may have invited both teams to come to the State of the Union. That'll
Okay.
be great to see, so everybody can cheer them on. And what
Yeah.
a wonderful thing that they remembered the former player who tragically passed away about a year and a half ago, and they
Yeah.
had his son out there. What a great thing, you know. I'll tell you, makes you proud to be an American.
Absolutely. And watching the interview afterwards, Jack Hughes, he's the
Yes.
guy that got his teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
And that in itself, and I'm sure, we can all relate to this is like, when you got the camera on you, you want to look your best.
Yeah.
But honestly, he was just like, you know what? Let's put it out there. And the cool thing was he was very like he was kind of humble about it. He was just like he wasn't talking
Yeah.
about himself, he was talking about the team. And I was just like, okay.
Actually, Tom, I think you look a lot like him, but with teeth.
Yeah, well, that's what I try to do on the drums. Is like I bleed on the snare. Something. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I want
Yeah.
to say to all our residents, be safe out there. Take your time today. Don't be in any hurry.
Yep.
We're getting the roads are great in Havistra, but look, anything can happen, and it's going to get very cold again tonight. I hope the wind dies down. If it doesn't, you got to be extremely careful.
Yep.
Tom, I thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
We appreciate you too, Howard. Thanks for doing all you do. Let's bring in the closing music, and then we'll just do another segment in a few. So Howard Phillips, Town of Haverstraw supervisor, and once again, thank you very much for being on Rock News, as well as the gentleman in the background, the one that was on the phone,
Bart Gordon, Superintendent of Highways.
Bart. Nice to have you on the show. Hope to have you on again at some point.
Thanks,
All right.
Tom.
Yeah. So this episode is sponsored by our friends at the New York Boulders baseball team. We appreciate them as our 2025-26 sponsor. And we got a lot of updates coming up. In about a half hour, we're going to have Town of Stony Point Supervisor Amy Conklin-Stam. We'll have County Executive Ed Day on at 10:15 a.m. This episode is sponsored by the New York Boulders baseball team, as well as Yabu Fence, Dana Pest Control, Easy Temp, and Kobe Sushi. We also have a coupon coming out at 10 o'clock. We'll talk with you about it in a few. Take care for now. Be safe out there.